Hi, girl. I would like to talk
No.
about Madeline Ashton.
Hmm. Eh.
Er. You know it's going to be a good episode when we come right out of the gate with Death Becomes Her quotes?
Exactly. I feel really good about it. Did you see that they're making it a musical? It's a musical now?
Oh, I love that. That sounds like it would make a
Yeah.
really good musical. I'm a little skeptical about some musical adaptations, you know what I mean? And I haven't seen
Yeah.
Beetlejuice, so I can neither confirm nor deny. But there's some
Like, what was
things.
that Spider-Man Turn on the Dark where like everybody died? The same,
Yeah.
like they didn't have any.
Yeah. Was that the guy got injured because he fell off the fly wire or something?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes, yes. Wasn't great. Anyways, yeah, I heard good things about Beetlejuice. I saw the Addams Family previews in Chicago before it went to New York. It's cute. I mean, I think you figure out what you figure out. You know what I mean? Like you
Yeah.
know what you're getting into. It's kitsch.
Yeah, well, and you can't be too mad when a character evolves beyond a certain amount of time. Like,
Right.
Jenna Ortega's Wednesday is fine, but it's not
Hmm.
Christina Ricci.
No, and I actually never watched Wednesdays.
It was fine. I watched clips of it, and it was like,
Yeah.
oh, it was like, I get it. You know what I mean? That's kind of how I feel about the new Tomb Raider games. Like, after Square Enix took it over, and I'm like, yeah, but it's not core design. Like, it's just a different character. Uh, she said, the like, the zero gamers
Relatable
that watch our
content
show
on
were
the
like,
dish.
oh, she went there.
Oh, girl. Well, typically at this point on the dish, we ask, "How are you?" But I think we're gonna skip that question.
I was gonna say, I'd rather you didn't.
I'd rather you did. I don't hope your email finds me.
Yeah, at all. I don't hope your email finds me spiraling on the kitchen floor. I don't
Mm-mm.
hope your email finds me, like, doubled over a toilet. I really hope that you don't find me whatsoever. It's the
Yeah,
new,
I was like,
it's the new, this is an old joke, but, like, it's the new, this meeting could have been an email. This email could have been nothing.
this email could have been nothing.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Certainly didn't need to be, like, an unscheduled stop by my office, like, hi, you know what I mean? Definitely didn't need to be that.
Oh, all right. So I want to know how you are. What's a question I can ask that you'll answer?
We're You're really like giving me all the power in this situation, which I really appreciate.
All right, never
Um,
mind. I'll ask you a question. You have to answer it.
okay, all right. This is like very truth or dare.
Hmm.
Hit me with it.
What is the best part about your week so far?
Oh, that's a nice question. So the best part of my week so far is going into a meeting today that I had to run on a subject that I am not an expert in, and not knowing how it was going to go. And I feel like we really we went from 60% project completion to 80%, and it felt real good. And
Exciting.
yeah, it was like a lot of different people in the room. It was about a topic that we've been thinking about for a long. It was like truly something that the overall institution has needed for 10 years, and we just have
Wow.
not made progress on it. And it's just a combination of like right time, right people, right approach, and we all just like at the end of the meeting we just had this collective release of nervous energy, and we're like, we just really needed a win this week. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was a little rabid, but it was good.
Good. Oh, that's such a win. Sure. I love that.
Mm-hmm. How about you, girl? Tell me about a highlight.
Ooh, girl. So I took advantage of daylight savings time and started before vacation, we started a morning gym routine and we started going in the morning. And I was like, really in the beginning of this, we started in, like, I don't know what month it is because life is meaningless. We started in October. And every night before bed, we were like, okay, well, what time is your first meeting?
Mm-hmm.
To try to figure out when we were going to go to the gym. And we were on vacation in Jamaica, not setting alarms, living our lives, and drinking tequila on the beach. And I was like, I am done with this. I hate well, what time's your meeting tomorrow? Because
I
it's
do
just
that
that
every
different.
day. I do that every single day.
Yeah, and it's fine if you're just waking up, that's fine. When you're adding 2 hours, or for me with my commute, 3 hours on it, it's like very disjointed. So sometimes it's like 6 a.m. and sometimes it's 7:15, and it's just a lot.
Yeah.
So my commitment in coming back from Jamaica, doesn't do daylight savings time. So we already adjusted. So we
Oh.
came back Saturday night, daylight savings happened Sunday. So we just never adjusted. And I said, let's start waking up at the same time every morning. So we're still doing the gym, but I'm like 6:15 no matter what. Just get up. Even if you don't go to the gym. Because it's the back and forth was like annoying.
Yeah.
One morning it's 6:15, one morning it's 7:30, and like it really does throw you off. Anyways, it's a small old person win, but it's our win. And
I was like, this story is really driving engagement. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but I am enjoying my morning gym routine, feeling very fit, love it. I like that.
Yeah, cheers to that. We're finding life wherever we are.
Girl, we surely are.
Mm-hmm.
So what are we dishing on tonight?
So we're dishing out parties.
Like it, Star.
Thank you. Her name is Belinda. I got her H&M 10 years ago, and she's
worth it.
She's still pulling through. But you know what? She's made entirely of plastic. This is the problem of fast fashion. It's just she's 100% polyester. She's going to be in the landfill 200 years from now.
And she's still gonna look great.
That's true. What a fun thought for tonight. We're going to talk about something fun. If it kills us. This was what I love about the conversation we had for planning this episode was like the one thing we don't want to do. Coming off of hiatus after so much having happened. We don't want to drag you the viewers down, okay? We know.
No.
If you frequent this show, you know that we ask a lot of you on a regular basis. Which is to hold very complex, long-term, systematic, structural issues. And so tonight we wanted to talk about something a little bit more fun, a little quirky, if you will. Something that just really, something that will just really pull us all together, which is parties. What do you like about a party, girl, right off the bat?
Oh, girl, I love being in control. I am a control freak. I am sensually attracted to being in control of a party. I love hosting. I get mad when people don't eat my food. I get frustrated when the drink selection isn't accurate. They're like, oh my God, you don't have ginger liqueur? And I'll be like, what? We have 18 Japanese whiskeys, you bag of dicks. I love it. There is nothing to me. I love cleaning up as we go and getting to the night after a successful endeavor and just being like, look at this clean house. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I love cleaning up the night of a party. Is really fun.
Oh, yes, and waking up to a clean house after success.
Oh, waking up to a clean house is like
oh.
just horny.
Yes,
horny.
Yes. So I think my control issues come out, but everybody benefits. Well, except usually those close to me who have to deal with my manic meltdown.
Some of us know too much.
And you better keep it to yourself.
Yeah, because you have a particular mask. You have a persona that's like, yeah, it looks like that. And it's like everyone, everything in its place, everyone is having a good time. The people that are having a sidebar over by the wet bar, it's been scheduled. They don't know, but it's on the itinerary. It's like, the 7:35 sidebar by the wet bar, right on schedule. Love to see it.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is like flawlessly orchestrated. But if you know too much, you know the eye twitch. You know the eye twitch when something is amiss, and then you secretly start...
And someone's like, oh, I'm allergic to shrimp. And then I just flip out.
And you're like, the theme of the party was shrimp.
We're going to dress like shrimp. We're going to sit like shrimp. All the shrimp.
We're going to... Wait, show me sitting like shrimp again. We're...
Gotta pull your back.
I fucking love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then at 8:32, we're all going to devein each other.
Yeah, I think, my cocktail laugh. Like, I have
I do. Yes, I do.
I am so good at it. My ex was like, teach me. And I'm like, no.
And they don't even realize that you just that you just gave an entire masterclass in the cocktail laugh.
Here's the thing. When you are a performer, as you are a performer, you are often in rooms with comedians and they are often not funny. And
Yes.
the rule is to laugh.
This feels very exposing having this conversation on air. But it's true. There are certain things that you do with performer etiquette if you want to build
Yeah.
a positive rapport in the community that you find yourself in. And the most important thing you can do is to signal support
Yes. And you don't laugh at
in the
everything.
crowd.
Yes.
That means
So how do you do that for burlesque?
you tip.
Oh, that's frustrating financially. All I have to do is laugh.
It is frustrating, but I'll tell you what, it is the single, my opinion, it is the most single important thing that you can do to support your colleagues
Okay.
and also to build positive rapport with them. Because and you get extra points if the audience is not tipping and you go up and you make a show of it and you tip them and you do those things that are like, love you, babe. You know what I mean? You do those things where like, oh my God, we're colleagues. And now there's this extra level of excitement for the crowd of like, oh my gosh, the performers are interacting with each other.
Okay.
It's like IMAX. Like
Okay.
4K, 3D, put on the 3D glasses. Oh my God, the performers are interacting with each other. It's like a whole nother level to the experience.
I love it.
And, you know, you might net a little bit less tips, but it definitely pays it forward in terms of, like, do you want to get bookings from those other cast members? Do you want to signal respect and community and
Yeah.
all those things? Like, it's about what you want to get out of performing. And if what you want to get is, like, building, it's professional development for performers.
You know, it sounds like a lift at first, and then it's like it's really not. And like one of the challenges I had, especially coming up, is like a lot of the jokes were terrible and misogynistic and racist, and you were kind of like, okay, well, I have to make the choice to laugh at certain things,
Yeah.
but like some of the comedians are really bad, and when you start, you don't know, and you don't know what to, and it's like,
By the way, I've seen the calculus with Brooke where people will say something problematic and then you have to decide is now the time?
yeah,
How
it's a
problematic
game
was
of
the
gray.
comment? Yes. So I've definitely seen you like almost mid laugh like huh and then turn away because in the moment you're like nope, that wasn't the one. That was definitely not the one to laugh at.
Yeah, like, you'll like laugh at once, it's borderline, and then the tag to it is like gross.
Yeah.
And you're like, fuck. So then you're like, and they say the tag, and you're like, but I actually really got into clapping, which is, I'm like,
Look at you.
and I mean,
That's
and
good.
sometimes like clapping is genuine, but sometimes I'm like, that is a good joke, and I want you to know, but it's not funny. Like it's really well constructed, but it's not funny yet. You know what I mean? So it's like
Yeah.
all these signals, but I get it. I get it. I was like, coming up early on, I earned the credit, luckily, to not have to be in the room all the time for the mics because I got good fast.
Mm-hmm.
But, I tried to be in the room as much as I could, but sometimes they were so bad that we were just like, I can't be in the room right now. Like, this is just too much.
No.
You stay for a couple, you go outside on the patio, have a beer, chill out.
Yep. Yeah, it's
Yep.
you can't like you have to give yourself breaks. Like any job, you can't be plugged in the whole time. And I don't think my observation, especially in comedy, is that like everyone's approach is a little bit different, but
Yeah.
it is noticeable when somebody like goes on, does their set, and then like doesn't interact for the rest of the night. It is very noticeable and conspicuous.
Yeah.
But girl, life's a party.
Isn't it?
Yeah, I'm like, I'm just so sick of the party.
I'm just really fucking sick of it.
I know. I'm trying to get back around to like the positive version of this topic, which is
I told you what I like about parties. It's just controlling every aspect. What do you like?
what I like about parties now is getting an opportunity to interact with the people that I want to interact with. I hate to sound really
Mm.
mechanical about this, but it's like I want to have a meaningful interaction with the people I care about, and then I want to leave.
Yeah.
Unless,
Yeah.
unless I like to move through life with lowered expectations. You remember that that bit from Mad TV? Lowered expectations.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a bit of a deep cut for you Gen Z folks, but I like to go to a party with low expectations, and then what I'm really there for is to connect with people that I care about. And if the party ends up being so enjoyable that I don't want to leave, then I'm like, this is
That's a good
fantastic.
sign.
Yeah,
Yeah.
then it's a
Yeah.
time.
We started this topic a while ago because you used to go to a vegan brunch potluck.
Yeah, it wasn't nominally vegan, but it was functionally vegan.
What the fuck does that mean?
So we didn't identify as a vegan brunch, but
Okay.
we were a very like progressive to radical group
Okay.
of like activists, queer people, and social workers,
Mhm.
and more than half of us were vegan.
Right.
So one time I came in, this is like earlier on in the arc of, by the way, it was called Let's Hang Out and Talk About Stuff.
It's a great name for a brunch group.
Yes, because it tells you exactly what experience you're going to have.
Yeah, I don't need any mystery.
No, no, and we surely didn't want any. So we would pick a topic about the human experience, very much like this, in fact, but we would do it in person with 15 to 20 people over a brunch potluck. That was the whole
Okay.
thing. And it was very vegan. And one time earlier on in the journey of Let's Hang Out and Talk About Stuff, I was frying up some bacon in somebody's kitchen because I was like, well, I didn't have time to like get stuff or prepare something,
Yeah.
so I just
Yeah, everyone would prepare like seitan casseroles.
yeah, exactly. So I just bought a package of like apple smoked wood bacon, applewood whatever the smoked bacon, and I was just frying it in somebody's kitchen, and somebody came in to say hello because it was one of those, it was one of the spaces where you just come into the kitchen to hang out with people, and someone came into the kitchen and they like did the sniff in the air and they were like, "What's that?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm just frying up some bacon," and they were like, "Interesting," and I just like. And I was like, okay, so we need to now establish some parameters around this because it's, that's totally fine. Everyone is allowed to have their own experience around eating meat, but I just want to know what the expectations are, right?
Right. You're not allowed to have meat in the house that
Right.
isn't their home
Right.
either. Whose home was this?
I don't know. I mean, to be fair, they did not opt into the experience of being in a place where they would have to be around sizzling meat, and that's fine. Everyone, you know what? I got my vaccines today. I got my flu and my COVID shot today, and in the room where you get the labs done, where they draw the blood, there
Yeah.
was a piece of paper cut out with like craft scissors, which I loved, and it was stuck with a thumbtack on this cork board right across from me, and it said, "Everyone you meet is struggling with an internal battle you know nothing about," and I was like, "There's a bacon battle. There's
Wait,
a bacon
is this like
battle
in, like,
I know
your
nothing about."
CVS? What the fuck?
What? What'd you say?
Just like randomly in your CVS? What the fuck?
Well, it was at a little place down the street that that rhymes with Bequitas.
Ah, yes. Yes,
Okay.
I've heard of.
I don't know why I'm like we can talk about the fact that I got shots at Equitas. That's fine. But anyway. So anyway, I was getting my vaccines and I saw this thing pinned on the board and I was like, you know what? That's actually a really good reminder because people don't know, for instance, that that I'm suffering with internal rage and I can primal scream at any moment, and I may or may not apologize for that. So
I think that's totally fair.
yeah. Oh, can I tell you another story while we're talking about parties?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not exactly a party, but it was a group gathering, which has been very challenging for me in the last week, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
And I was at an ecstatic dance group, which I often go to,
Girl, you love you some ecstatic dance.
I
So
do.
for
If
those
there's
of you who
two
don't know what
things
ecstatic dance is,
you
it's a live DJ and a bunch of white people dancing around like improvisationally and like consensually interacting or not. And I
yeah.
do feel like I might have been judging with the white people edition, but correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you're not wrong. It I mean, it is what it is, right? That's it's not a read, it's just demographically that's the type of group that you tend to have at most ecstatic dance events is has been my experience, okay? So you have a tends to lean white straight cis crowd
Got
and then you have the queer contingent which
it.
will
A queer
show up.
contingent, yeah.
Yes. And so I was observing at this particular moment, we had the opening circle where we pass the mic around, we say how we're doing, right?
Oh, that's nice.
It is nice, but what I noticed on this particular day was that the straight people were passing around the mic and they were like, "Oh, I'm doing fine. Oh, you know, I'm dealing with a stomach thing. Oh, I'm fine. I'm doing good. I'm doing good." And then me and the other trans woman that were sitting next to each other, I think I think her check-in was grieving and mine was primal scream.
Were they like,
No, I mean it was just kind of like, everyone is allowed to show up and say whether they're
yeah,
okay or not okay, and so it was just kind of like, people were like, "Oh yeah, okay, we're holding space for you." But then afterward, we made it through about a quarter of that experience, and we're like, "Do you just want to go hang out together? Like I need a minute."
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so where I'm going with this is sometimes you notice that you are at a party where you feel expected to show up in a certain way where you are acting like you're okay and you're actually not okay. And I'm here to tell you that you don't need to stay at that party. You can leave at any
Mm,
time.
leave that party, girl.
Yeah, it was like, I think what she said to me was, "Hey, did you notice the trend where like all the straight people are fine and the trans women are actively dying?" And I was like, "I did notice. I did notice that."
I think one of the things I've really valued is, I mean, certainly we have had gone to our fair share of terrible parties, but as I have gotten older, the parties get smaller but more meaningful.
Ooh, I like that. Say
And
more about that.
I had when I had you over with um two people at my house, and we could just like read tarot and vibe and chill. And I love cooking for like 4 to 6 people. And
Mm-hmm.
more than six, it's like, you know what I mean? But
Stressful, yeah.
4 to 6 people is perfect. And I love it. You know what I mean? And I'm like, oh, okay. So I think like you got to find that window of like what works for you. But like now, the more meaningful conversations I'm having with folks usually involve more intimate settings.
Yeah.
Because when you're in those big groups, it's just like one person kind of leads. And if I can be honest, that's typically me. Not because I'm brilliant, but because I'm manic and I'm like, oh my God, there's silence. You know what I mean? And I don't
Yeah.
actually get to kind of settle in.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to notice, especially in like group party dynamics, like settling back. And you know what I mean? And just kind of being like, okay, lay of the land shit, like what's going on?
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is hard for me. It's hard for me to do.
I
But
think
it's
you and I
good.
have that in common, which is like, so when I show up to group settings, it's my Aries rising, which I do not care to explain in this moment. But if you know, you know, if you're into astrology, I feel like my performer side comes out and I have this urge, in order to facilitate social cohesion, I want to fill empty space.
That's exactly me. Yes,
Yeah.
whatever that is. I don't know what my rising is. How do I find out?
Oh, so there's like sites online where you can calculate your birth chart. You just have to say like where you were born and at what time and what the date is.
Oh, I don't know the time.
And
Okay.
it'll tell you I mean, it won't change too much, but it'll tell you what your ascendant is, which is the house that was on the horizon at the moment that you were born.
Oh, okay.
And that describes, generally speaking, I mean, everyone's approach is a little different, obviously, but so what I like to think about the sun sign is like when people say, "Oh, what's your sign?" That's the sun sign, and that's
Okay.
sort of like the essential corresponds roughly to like Jung's idea of the ego self. It's like this is like what's quintessentially me, and
Okay.
the rising sign is like the persona that you put on in public spaces to like show up in front of people that you don't necessarily know that well. So I think about the sun sign is like when people really get to know you, they see these qualities. but the rising sign is like the public persona that you put on to interact with the masses. So like my Aries rising is absolutely my stage persona.
Okay.
It's like, I'm here, boys. 5, 6, 7, 8. That's my Aries rising. Yeah. Da 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 da. And my Pisces sun is like, girl, let's go in the woods and like whisper to trees.
Yeah, I think you've really like leaned into that as you've grown up, right? Like I think that's part of it too. Like we've witnessed each other grow up, so I think that's what makes it super cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got just a couple minutes left because we started a couple minutes late. So, girl, what I want you to tell me is what's a party that you like had an idea about what you thought it was going to be, and then when you showed up to the party, you were like, oh no, this is not what I thought it was going to be, and now I got to get out.
Oh my God. You know what it is? It might be the same answer. That Halloween party we went to in Old Town East.
I remember.
And like, I got cornered by, first of all, every lesbian in Columbus, Ohio used to corner me and be like, I'm single, I don't know where to meet women, I'm single, help me. And I'd be like, I don't, first of all, I'm not Yenta, I'm not your matchmaker. And second of all, I would tell everyone the same thing I tell anybody, volunteer at something you care about, and you will meet someone else who cares about what you care about. That is all I think.
Totally, it's not that difficult.
I'm like, and then they're like, ew, volunteering? I'm like, exactly, you're a shitbox.
Maybe examine that.
Right. Reflect and sit with self. Like, I don't fucking know what to tell you, but I'm like, yeah. Do things you like to do. And if you meet people that you don't like doing the things you like to do, you should ask yourself why you like to do the things you do. So if all you're doing is partying and doing whatever and not contributing to society and you're meeting douche nozzles, Kel Surprise, you are also the douche nozzle. You should just know your life. But oh my God, that party was, again, amazing host, love it. I'm not a huge Halloween person.
The decor, next level.
Amazing.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know what it was about the moon or what was pulling us in, but when we pulled that net in of fish, girl, it was just carcasses. I mean, every conversation, I was like.
There's a card for that. There's a card for that.
What card?
The 5 of Cups, disappointment.
Oh my God, yeah. And here's the thing. This is a great reminder. Shouts to Dee and Sabrina. They threw an amazing party. Wasn't it Dee and Sabrina?
You knew them much better than I did.
I think I did. But they threw an amazing party and they did everything right. And it was just the luck of the draw of the guests we talked to that year. Because I had been to that party before. It was always a blast. It wasn't the party. Yeah. And that's where the chemistry is like, that's why I like more control now. Because I'm like, okay, because you can have all the right ingredients and then like a few Debbie Downers just
kill the vibe.
Your battleship.
Just kill the vibe, yeah. That girl, that was the night I got that text from that guy who worked in Plastics and Lewis Center and I got fucked in a graveyard. That was a great night.
Oh my God, that's the night I got stood up going to Slammers. So we have both very visceral memories of that night.
We do.
Me with disappointment and you with something else.
No, it was actually like, for what it was a very nice, self-contained, exciting experience. That, it was like, oh, we're done. We don't need any more of that,
That'll be fine.
Oh, we're done. One time I showed up to a warehouse party that was in this space. I forget, I don't even know what it was called because I was a slip of a girl. I was like 22 years old. And I showed up at a warehouse party at that place right next to Cavan on South High. And it was like, girl, it was the whole empty warehouse with party lights cutting through fog machine that is so thick you can't see the person in front of you. Everyone had a backpack on full of drugs.
Yeah, drugs.
And that was where I was like, oh, everyone's got a backpack on. That's interesting. They must all be like students fresh out of night classes. And then I realized, oh no, that's not what this. I'm so naive. Don't know what's going on. And so, the great thing about that in the moment is that you just like, for me anyway, because I've always, goody two shoes, right? You walk around and you're like, okay, oh my God, is something going to happen? Am I going to trip and fall onto a pile of drugs and get high? Like, no, that's not what's going to happen. People are going to ask you questions and you just say no, right? I was like,
Yeah. Yeah.
look at me literally going back to Dare in elementary school. Like just say no. But I was like, no, I mean, what? And I had, by the way, I had been through, not to get into the real darkness here, but in college I had been in a couple experiences like you do. You know not to cross the line when you have crossed the line in the past.
Yeah.
So I'd been in one and two of those situations where I absolutely did not feel safe. And I was like, well, we don't want to repeat that.
Right, right, right.
But it was just like, I remember that moment of like, wow, this is so cool and mysterious. And I've never seen anything like this before. And oh, everyone has drugs. That's what this is.
Yeah. You're like, oh, nope, not for me.
Yep.
Great.
So we made a pretty quick exit, but I didn't remember how I found my way there. It was like Narnia. Like, I don't remember who invited me, how I heard about it. I don't remember anything that happened there. Like, all I
I mean, it's usually how
remember.
those parties go, right?
Yeah, I remember the location and I remember the smoke machines and the lasers.
Oh my God. We should go there and film next week's dish. Just kidding.
We should, and ask a lot of questions. And everyone just like, it's like when you shine a flashlight and like all of the like, the bugs on the wall just like scatter. Like, it's gonna be like that.
Like, yeah, we're here now. Anyways.
Yeah. Hey, we're just doing some street interviews, and everyone's like, "Huh, time to go."
Well, speaking of street interviews, it's always lovely, lady, to dish with you. We are going to wrap up this week's dish, but if you have a particular topic you would like to discuss, please feel free to comment below on our Instagram or in our Facebook. I'm still in the search for the person who sent me the drawn pencil portrait of Penny, our covered dish mascot that passed. So if you were the one that sent me that, thank you, and also let me know so I can write you a thank you note. Because I'm a white lady, and if I don't write a thank you note, I get upset.
We are not in the business of laboring under karmic debts.
No, we surely are not. But please, 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 this time of our world and our life, take care of yourselves and take care of one another now more than ever. Yeah. And we will see you next week on The Douche.
All right. That's a wrap. Bye, baby.